Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Obi Imemba.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, wonderful ladies. I've been connected online this morning, and you know that it's been a very, very, very rich conversation from various speakers since morning. And everyone that is here, I'm very sure and I'm very confident that you're going to get value for the time. What you're doing today is an investment. What you're making is an investment today. You are investing into your future, and it means that you are intentional to make deposit into your future. It means that you have your eyes set on greatness. You want to become better. You want to get higher, and you want to make a generational impact. So today I'm going to be conversing on what I've been asked to speak on, the purpose-driven leadership, and how that helps you to turn your influence as great women into generational impact. You know that every woman has influence. In fact, I say that women are the most influential people on earth. What do I mean by that? And why do I say that? All of us, men or women, we start getting influence from when we're in our mother's womb. Our mothers influence us right from the womb until when we come out. They breastfeed us, that's influence. They teach us, they feed us, that's influence. They teach us A, B, C, D, that's influence. They teach us how to sit, how to dress. They teach us how to behave in front of people. They teach us how to speak and how not to speak, what to do and what not to do. Is there anyone else that has greater influence in your life than a mother or than a woman? So that's the primary foundational level of influence. But you can also extend that into the workplace, into your communities, into the church, into the business environments. You will see that for me that work in the corporate space, I know that when we are, especially I work also in a male-dominated space, you know, but when we have a woman in the room, when we have a woman in the meeting, and the woman speaks, you will see that they speak with certain level of influence. Their presence command make men to sit up. When they speak, we want to hear, because we want to hear a different version, different perspective. We want to hear a different perspective. We want to see something from a different angle. Because they speak with grace, they speak with different, they speak from a different angle than the way we speak. So today, I would like us to know that the conversation today is not just about how to make impacts. It's not about I'm not here to excite us, but I'm here to connect us to a higher life. What does it mean to become great, to be a great person? What does it mean to become purposeful? Why am I here? Why am I engaged in the pursuits? We are very hardworking people. Why do you wake up every morning, every day? You go out, you are busy, you are occupied from morning till night. Why are you pursuing that degree? Why do you want to get this achievement? All of those are good, but to what end? After that, what next? So I want to believe that today we're going to discuss on how we will channel our passions, our energies, our hard work to something that will outlive us, not just something that will excite us, not something that will make us visible, but something that will outlive us. So the first thing I want to help us unbundle or understand is leadership. What does it really mean, leadership? Leadership is influence. That's the simple meaning of leadership. Leadership is influencing people. So that's why I had to paint a picture of women, how you influence everywhere you find yourself. That means that every woman here is a leader. So that already makes it clear that as far as you can influence people, as far as you can make a difference in the lives of people, you can help people to do something. You can help people to learn a new skill. You can help a baby, to feed. Whatever thing you are doing where you are going to impact somebody's life, that's already influence. We are all influential people, but we don't know. So I want us to start from that today, that we are all influential. So leadership is taking people from where they are, influencing them from one point and connecting them to a vision. Because it's easy to say you have an influence, but you are not carrying anybody with you. So it's not possible to say I'm influential and there's nobody that I'm taking with me. So influence is about inspiring people through a vision that is anchored on a purpose. That's what leadership is. So you want to take followers to a starting destination. And everyone has a leadership potential, but it's not everyone that is a leader. You can have the potential to do something, but you may not necessarily be doing that thing. So that means that your potential is a waste. So every leader has been able to convert his potential from just being an empty balloon. You know what? When you have balloon that doesn't have anything inside of it, so it has a space. If you look at it, it has space. It's big, but there's nothing inside of it. It has the potential to be big, but it's empty. Just touch it like this, the air goes out. There's nothing inside. So today we're going to be discussing about how do you become a leader. You're going to become a leader by taking certain steps. So you are born to lead, but you have to become a leader. You don't have to sit on a spot. You have to take the journey into leadership. So, influence as women is an assignment. Every woman is entrusted with influence. Whether it's at home, it's at work, it's in your community, wherever you are. So don't underestimate the potency of your influence. How many persons you influence determines the sphere of your greatness. What is greatness? Greatness is measured by how much contribution you make in life. How much contribution you make. And this contribution is measured by how much problems you solve, by the number of people that you impact. So you need to, if you want to really measure your influence, you have to measure how many people that you solve problems for. In fact, I tell people that if you don't like to solve problems, if you don't like to help people, then you will not have influence and you will not become a purposeful leader. So, determine today to be a person of influence, and then that determines how much greatness that you will get. I always have what I call levels of leadership. There are 3 levels of leadership I talk about. And the first level of leadership is what I call self-leadership. What is self-leadership? Because most people want to lead, you want to lead a nation, you want to lead a business, but you don't even know yourself. You don't know your emotions. You've not mastered your emotions. You've not developed your character. You've not developed your competencies. I heard about competence here. You don't have a skill. You don't have disciplines. You are not disciplined. You are not, you don't even know how to have relationships. You're not able to relate with people. Everything you do, every time you have people with you, there is always conflict. So you cannot become a leader if you have not mastered yourself. So self-awareness, self-mastery, emotional intelligence, all of these are what you need to become a self-leading person. You have learned how to lead yourself. You have the discipline. You know when to wake up. You know when to read. You know when to study. You're able to plan your own life. You're able to discipline yourself to sit down when you need to sit down. You're able to discipline yourself to do your own chores. And then you now migrate to what I call people leadership. Because if you don't lead yourself, you cannot lead people. And when you talk about leadership, it's not possible to talk about leadership without people. People is at the heart of leadership. The heart of leadership is people. The very heart of leadership is people. You don't lead things. You manage things, but you lead people. So you don't necessarily need to talk so much about management when you're talking about leadership. So genuine leadership is about how many people you serve, how many people you take along with you, how many people you empower. So leaders inspire people. Leaders help people to become better versions of themselves. So leadership, the second leadership level is people. People leadership. Lead yourself, lead people. And then we now get to the where we are going to focus today, which is the purpose-driven leadership. How can you be purpose-driven when you have not passed the first 2 levels? Purpose-driven is now when you are able to create a system that makes your leadership impact to outlive you. You connect people to a vision, you connect people to a destination that even when you are not there, they will keep going to that destination. You help people to connect with something that is higher than them. In fact, each time leadership is about you and what you want, you cannot make an impact that is lasting. I asked you a question. How many of us are into business? How many of us are business people? Please raise your hands. Okay. How many of us work in the corporate or private sector, government? Okay. I think there are more business people here than people that work for others. So now the question you ask yourself is, why am I doing this business? Why am I in this business? Why am I in this venture? What am I trying to gain? What am I trying to make here? So how many of us are in the business to make a living? Raise your hand if you... Okay, how many of us are in the business to pay the bills? So people are not raising their hands. Okay, so how many of us are in the business to solve a problem? How many of us are in the business to meet a need? No, raise your hand, not all of us. I want to know. Okay, good. So, and then I think we're now on the same page. So, that problem you're trying to solve, that need you're trying to meet, That is purpose. And as far as you're connected to purpose, the money will come. As far as you're connected to purpose, the money will come. But there are more things that you need. It's not just to be connected to purpose. I think that's also elementary level. That's a fact. But there are more things you need to be able to have a business that will meet your needs today and also meet the needs when you are no longer there. I know so many people that started businesses. I know so many entrepreneurs who owned their businesses. Very wonderful ideas, very good initiative. They started companies, and the company was doing very, very well. But immediately they were incapacitated or they are no longer alive. The businesses died. That is a dream. That's a problem-solving platform that has just collapsed because there were things that we are missing. So our next conversation now is going to enter into how do you create a sustainable, purposeful venture, vision, business, whatever it is. How do you make it to last beyond you? How do you make it to become generational? So, and that's the essence of purpose-driven leadership. And today, our question, the conversation is not about your personal attainment, your personal achievements, but it's now about what will exist because I was here. What is that thing that will exist because I passed through this place? How many lives will be transformed because they had an encounter with me? How many other businesses will come out because they had a mentorship session? They are founders. I was able to mentor them. I was able to hand carry them. And I was able to take them from part A to part B. So today, we're talking about leadership that is not about how many followers you produce, but about how many other leaders you are able to raise. And that's the multiplication. So when you get to the point where your impact is no longer momentary, is no longer today, but your impact is no longer just about you, but your impact is about many other people that you're able to take along with you, then you start talking about generational impact. You start talking about purpose-driven leadership. So what we're speaking here today is that it's not about how fast you run. It's not about how fast you go, but it's really about how solid you are. It's really about how well that you're able to build structures that will outlive you. So transforming your influence to legacy requires three key things. One is focusing on people. You must focus, people must be at the center. Number two is capacity development. I think we've heard about that today. And number three is building a sustainability cycle. Building a sustainability cycle. So your legacy is what remains after you have gone. And to be able to have that legacy, you have to have these three things in front of you. So first, if you focus on people, if you talk about focusing on people, they give their best to their leaders who serve a purpose larger than themselves. No one will follow you if it's all about you and you and you alone. Today, we are talking about purpose-driven leadership. But you know there's also power-driven leadership. And that is what we see in our politics today. All our politicians, what they operate is what they call power-driven leadership. Do you know why that most of them are afraid? You know why they jump from one party to the other? It's not because of what they want to give. It's about what they want to get. It's not because of the people they want to serve. It's about what they think, what they want to extract from the people. Because if you are purpose-driven, you are consistent, you are principled, you are connected to a purpose, you will tell yourself, even if I don't succeed on this platform, I still stand on what I believe. I stand on my principle. I stand on my ideology. And because my purpose is to transform people and not to transform myself. It's not personality-driven leadership. It's not leadership. You know, a lot of people are so interested in getting a position. What does the position have to do after you have left? Most people have forgotten completely after they have left that position or after they have left this planet. Think about somebody like Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, before he became president, I think he was almost going to 80 years old. But before then, he had become a beacon of hope. He became a reference point. He was already being reverenced globally. Because of what? Because he was connected to a purpose. He was a purpose-driven leader. He was a servant leader. He gave himself, he gave his most part of his life being in the prison just to make sure that other people are emancipated. And today, there is nowhere purpose-driven leadership will be spoken in the world that you would not mention him. It was not because he was in power. It was because he was purposeful. Because he cared about people and he genuinely loved them. And people followed him because of what he represented, not because of the power that he had. In fact, anytime your credibility has to come from your position or from the power you hold or the authority that you command, you are not yet a true leader. You're not yet a purpose-driven leader. Until people are able to connect with your vision, with something that you are focused on without being compelled, without being paid for it, without being even asked to do it. They trust you, they connect with your vision, then that's when you get to that purpose-driven level of leadership. So, of course, many women, even those of you here, you have become very successful. A lot of you have attained some firsts. You know, you are first to maybe have a degree from your family. You are first to get a PhD among your peers. You are the first to rise in the company among your peers. You're first to do this. You're first to do that. But to what purpose? If that attainment, if that achievement cannot be connected to something that will outlive you, that will benefit others, then it's just a show. So you need to be deliberate in seeking out, be intentional in seeking out how you can give yourself. I had somebody talk here today about dying empty. How you empty yourself in other people. You know. So we can now go to what I call capacity development. Because I mentioned three things. I said, for you to enter that level of purposeful leadership, you need to develop capacity, you need to focus on people, and you need to have a sustainability cycle. So focusing on capacity development. I always tell people, you cannot give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. You cannot mentor from an empty vessel. You cannot teach people what you don't know. You cannot communicate what you don't know. You cannot develop people when you yourself, you are not developed. So the starting point of purposive leadership is always building your own capacity. It's always growing your capacity before your title grows bigger than you. Some people want to carry very big titles. That's why today it's easy to buy honorary doctorate and all of those. So you have to embrace formal education, alternative education, all manner of skills development. I have people that I know that have left, they studied, they are medical doctors, but they've gone to develop themselves in other areas. I know one of them who today is, all he does is speaking. He goes to teach and equip people everywhere. I know another one who is an expert in financial advisory and is making millions of dollars from it. But he went back to school to develop himself. So build capacity for problem solving. Be a solution-oriented person. Learning is not just self-indulgence, but it's actually your investment capital. It's investment capital that if you invest it, it will return both for you and for those that are around you. You know why you are not able to make impacts around people around you? Because there's not much that you have to give. So what are you going to decide to invest in today in terms of capacity? Your business, the level where your business is today, is most likely because of the capacity you have. So you can leave the business for 1 year, for 6 months to go get additional skills. So your achievements is not necessarily bad, but your achievement has to be connected to a purpose for it to become a legacy. And when I talk about achievements, your capacity development, your education, your attainments, your laurels that you get, they need to be connected to something that is higher than you, something that can leave impact on people before it becomes a legacy. It's not bad to have an ambition to want to be a president, to be on the front page of one of those big magazines, to be the most wonderful, powerful woman in Africa. It's not bad to have those kind of ambition. But you need to convert that ambition into something that would benefit others. If it's not benefiting others, if it's not going to be something that when you are no longer on the scene, nobody will remember you, then that ambition is a fertile ambition. So if it's something that will not last into generations, then it means that you are probably standing on the wrong leg. So focus your ambition on people. Tie it to a purpose that can make it become a generational impact. Now, I would like to talk about what I call the sustainability cycle. And there are 3 things I connect with it, and that's structure, systems, and institutions. Your legacy will not become sustainable impact if there are no structures, systems, and the institutions that around that venture that you are building. I always tell people that, okay, I give an example. There's a foundation, Hill City Foundation is a foundation that I got the vision 22 years ago, and that's when it was inaugurated. And I recall that 3 weeks after the inauguration of the vision, where I work, I was sent on an international assignment from Nigeria. Then there was little or no internet then. I think mobile phones were just about appearing. We were just new. All this social media was not there. WhatsApp wasn't there. And I just left. But the vision survived, kept thriving and kept growing because of structures, systems, and institutions that were built around it. Immediately at the inauguration of the vision, there were delegation of power, there were structures, there were departments, there were people that were entrusted with different aspects of the work. It was registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. There was very clear processes, procedures that were established. And that was what helped the vision survive till today. I will show you something else about it. So I always say that a structure makes a vision to stand. Systems make it to, and institutions make it sustainable. I'll take that again. A structure will make your vision to stand. Systems will make it to thrive, while institutions will make it sustainable. So in another way, it means that if you have a vision, if you have a business that you're running, and if you want it to convert it to a generational impact business, that means you need to ask yourself, what structure is this business? Is it only about me, myself, and I? You are the one doing everything. Do you have systems? Do you have recruitment system? Do you have financial system? Do you have management systems that are around it that everybody can use even if you are not there? It's clear to everybody. Do you have the right institutional framework, governance? Are you the only? Nobody's checking what you're doing. There's no auditing. There's no accountability. So it's only businesses that are framed around these three concepts that will thrive and that will survive. I've talked about systems, structures, so I will now talk about institutions a little. Institutions are not things that are wishes for any business that wants to be sustainable. In fact, if your business can only run when you are there, then it's not yet institutionalized, and it will not last beyond you, and it will not impact the generations today and even tomorrow. Until your business can run when you are not there. Because there are people that their businesses, their ventures, or their NGOs, everything is around them. Everything, 100% is around them. The day they are no longer there, nobody will even know anything about it. So, building strong institutions is not something that is to be debated. It's something that you need to embrace if you want to have a legacy of a business that will continue without your pushing. Some of us want to be superhumans. There's nothing like superhuman being. Everybody has a limit physically on what you can carry. You only have 24 hours, but you can get people to work with you. You can get volunteers. You can get trainees. You can, even if you are not able to get people you can pay, get people that you can teach what you are doing and that they can work with you. So carry people along. So the whole thing we're talking about is that carry people along with you. So there are what I call the 5, I want you to remember these 5 axes of sustainable impact. And the why they are important is that I know that I've talked about purpose. Purpose is, of course, is the goal, is the vision, is the end point. But goals, I call them signposts or milestones that you encounter on your journey to your purpose, to your destination. So you must make sure that you have clear goals that have clear outcomes. You know what you're pursuing. If not, you'll be chasing the wind. Make sure there is you're able to measure your impact. Make sure there are governance systems, around you. You have guardrails. Somebody talked about integrity. I think it's Mrs. Audrey. She talked about integrity, ethics. Those are guardrails that take you to your destination to help you to arrive at your purpose. You must also know how to replicate. And I've told you how to replicate your impact. And that is about putting structures, systems, and institutions around it. Then you can replicate it. You can take what you're doing. That's how branches are created. Just think about it. Go to banks. That's a very good example. You go to the same bank in different countries, it's the same systems, the same processes. That's an institution. That has become replicatable. You can replicate it. You can make it stand on its own. You don't need to be there. And then you talk about succession planning, and then you now start getting into what they call the generational plan. And then you need to measure whatever thing that you are working on. You need to measure it. Are you able to have metrics? How many people are you mentoring? How many people am I training? How many people did I, impact today? There is somebody that I know took up an assignment to train 10 young ladies. She just said, I want to make an impact. I want to be able to make an impact here. And she took 10 young ladies and started working on them. Each person had their needs. After 6 months, 6 out of the 10 were settled. 3 were able to get a job. 2 were able to get a business. 1 was able to get a scholarship to be able to further her studies. She's called, after 6 months, 6 out of 10. She just told herself, I want to make an impact. Let me start from somewhere. I remember that when I was posted on assignments in one African country, to be precise, that's actually Uganda. I was posted there on assignments, and I told myself, yes, I'm making impact in my company, but the society, I need to also make societal impacts. This society needs to know that I passed through here, that even when I'm out here, they will remember me for generations to come. And we started Hill City Foundation there. We saw the need of people that needed education, mentorship, economic empowerment, personal development, and we started that process. It's already 10 years now, and it's still growing and thriving. So that takes me to probably, let's talk a little more about the Hill City Foundation, and then I'll conclude. All that I've told you here today is about making an impact. I just wanted to tell you something very practical. Hill City Foundation, we started in 2005. With just about 20 people that we were giving scholarship. We were, and consistently, today, we give about 300 people scholarship every year. And more than 3,800 people have received scholarship from this foundation, just from starting very small. Having a vision, creating a structure, systems, institutions around it, and let it run on its own. And now it's become replicated in other African countries. And the people, generations are being impacted from it. And that's why I say that small and consistent is better than one big bang you're waiting to happen. You start small, you give it a frame, you give it a structure, and today there are many programs that Hill City runs. Hill City is, apart from doing educational support, they run mentorship, economic empowerment, self-discovery, several programs, and I still do my regular work. The people, it runs without me. I am not there. The team that are working on it, work on it. I contribute my own money, and other people contribute their own money, and the impact remains continuous. So in concluding, in summary, what I've told you today is that you need to develop capacity for impacts. You need to empower people that are around you. Impact is not just about you. And it's not about now. It's about tomorrow. So empower people, build systems, multiply sustainable impacts. It's not just to create impact that's sustainable, but also make sure that it's something that can be replicated. So my final words today are that you need to lead beyond the moments, beyond today. You need to live beyond today and think about generational impact. You need to build beyond yourself. You need to make sure there is a pipeline of impacts, of success that will live after you in Africa. It's shouldn't just stop with you. So what are you deciding to do today? What is that business that you need to give a structure today that you have not registered? What is that idea that you've not formalized? You've not even written it down, and you have not checked it with somebody. What's that thing you're running alone without partners? There's nobody running it with you. It's not going to be sustainable. What of that education that you need to start today? Have you thought about that? That dream that you have not scripted, that is still in your heart, is burning in your heart. I remember that when I got the Hill City vision, I had to go meet somebody. I said, this thing will not let me go. But I think I'm already doing it. I think I help people around me. He told me, give it structure and let it grow. So, that's what of mentoring people around you. So there is something you must go out here with today. Think about a purpose-driven initiative that you can make, you can start making from today, that would make your community know that you are around. You are not just here to exist. I know you've heard about that today. So make a decision today to make a difference in your sphere of influence, wherever you find yourself. Connect to a purpose. Position yourself for a higher level of living that will outlive you. A life that would make not just impact today, but a life that will make impacts even when you are long gone from this place. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Obi, for that impactful session.